we're going to go ahead and load on into the Rift. It's going to be Hybrid Core taking on Reigning Jelly Bears to start things off. We'll see how these teams want to pan out. Reigning, be very good for them to get themselves their second win in the groups. On the side here of Hybrid Core, looking to even out their current group score.
Wait.
Hello.
Where's my dragonfly by?
You don't get it anymore.
Want to know what dragon it is? Hey! Oi!
Fish was so excited.
That was my sole analytical point to start the match. All right, dragon coming up is, I'm going to guess, Infernal Dragon, all right? Let's go.
Hoping for
I'm
Infernal.
always right.
You want that action in bot lane right away?
As the kids say these days, YOLO, Opal. YOLO.
Jeez, I haven't heard that in a while. It's been a long time since I've heard that.
You only leave once.
We'll see here. Had ourselves a topside start for both of our jungles. We'll see. We want to see what kind of clear also this Ivern's going to try and take. Looks like it started up toward that blue buff. Didn't actually get to see our first clear.
I think Ivan just procced a few camps and immediately went to Scuttlecrab. So Ivan's first smite was used on Scuttle. The rest of his jungle's still there. So very, very early vision control, very early objective control coming out from Ivan. Then you can see Zagazor is just clearing out the rest of his jungle. Zagazor is a jungle that has been around the Singaporean circuit for quite some time. So an experienced jungle. Damn it!
Ah, it's Cloud Drake. They get to run fast at least.
So it's a Cloud Drake. I was right all along.
Oh! Cloud Drake is just Infernal V2, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right,
They look
perfect.
the same. They do the exact same thing.
We see here with Zan just walking through his jungle,
So-
lumbering around.
The big thing about Ivan is you can't be punished very early into the match if you have someone like Jarvan waiting in the bush there. You can see he drops a bush on top of another bush to just get vision of that bush. I know it sounds weird, but that's what he does. You can be punished. If a jungler stops you doing your first few camp takes, stops your setup, or even tries to fight you when you're trying to take away red buff, blue buff, and the second phase of the jungle clear, you could lose a lot. Zagazor there could be just fine. He might actually just run into Jarvan now. He's inside his jungle, going for a Gek against Lux. Looking to.
Possibly looking for it. Raptors was already started up by Zan already. Planted the shrine down, so it looks like Shin has come on over on that Jarvan, has actually started that up, so it's going to be a little bit of a steal. Still trying to figure out a path possibly onto this Lux. Just wants to keep track of where this Ivern is pathing starting off things.
Well, they spotted him out, and look at this. Zagazor's cleared his entire jungle.
Yeah.
There's only 2 camps left for Shingan to take. That's his Wolf and his Raptor camp.
Possibly looking
And-
for this, but Super's way too far.
He's not going to get anything. Shingan can't gank mid lane. He's going to have to clear the rest of his camp. So Ivan's gone back to base and immediately bought Moby boots. Oh, no. Shingan, that's dirty. It's not okay.
Be going into this without red buff. His red buff is already timed out.
Shingan's in trouble. Because now Ivan's going to spot him.
Oh,
Kale's
no.
going to collapse as well. He has to flag and drag out. So that's a good move. He just got a couple of deep wards down to spot out where Ivan's walking. You can see if you look at the mid lane turrets, just on either side, there is a nice ward spotted. A drop down by Shingan just to protect the rest of his team. So although Shingan's behind now, doesn't have the highest of clear speeds. Sorry, Jarvan does have a decent clear speed, but doesn't have a great clear speed in comparison to Zagazor, who's just running amok around the jungle at the moment. He's been able to get the wards necessary for the team to know what side of the jungle Ivan is on at the moment.
Oh, Super. Taking a decent chunk of damage here from Shira on this Syndra. Was able to walk away from that light binding pretty well.
That will force Lux to go back to base, picking up the cleanse. The barrier. Means she'll have to walk back to lane slowly. What this means for the team as well is when they know what side of the map Ivan's on, Urgot can play aggressive when he knows Ivan's on the bottom side of the map. And he can try and push Kale in or try and get some good damage on towards Kale. Bottom side of the map, Vayne Thresh can't really do much against Xayah Braum, but they too can try and play aggressive, especially if Jarvan is down, waiting in the wings at the bottom side of the map. The only one that really has to be careful is Syndra. Doesn't matter what side of the map Ivan's on. Yes, you can play passively towards the side that Ivan is, currently on. But you still have to be careful in that mid lane just because of how short the lane is.
See the push coming in from Toxic on the Urgot, denying some of this farm. Once again, already starting to build up a decent CS lead. About 2 there in the top lane, almost 2 waves in the mid lane as well. So Reigning starting to find advantages in their solo lane. Bot lane also slightly in their favor. It's pretty much even.
Oh. Shingon trying to get some counter juggling done. Oh, he just used Flag Dragon. Look at this. Zangosaurus here.
He's coming on by already, has to use it. Going to force the flash out on both sides. Flashing on over himself, needs to land this binding, is going to connect, but fortunately that kill's still too far away. Shin's drawing time. Binding's going to try and come out here. Should be enough though. First blood going on to Super.
Zangosaurus' control of his own jungle is super. Shingon just doesn't know what to do. He can't really gank into the lanes right now because top lane's pushing in. Urgot's been pushing against Kayle nicely. Bottom lane's been pushed in by Vayne as well as Thresh. Syndra's pushing Lux in, so all his lanes are winning. He can either protect his lanes or farm up or try and counter jungle. And instead of just farming his own jungle, he's tried to go up against Zangosaur inside of his own jungle 3 times now. All 3 times not getting anything for it. And right there, they just catch him off guard. There was no reason for Shingon to try and take that Gromp camp. Zangosaur has already set up a good path for himself. He wasn't stopped early. He wasn't going to be stopped then. Taking the Gromp was just too high of a risk. You're deep into the opponent jungle with very few hit points. You haven't gone back to base at all. And your teammates can't come and help you when you're that far deep.
It's not the start they were looking there on the side of Reigning. They had themselves advantages, but give up a little bit of gold back on over to Hybrid Core. Super's also going to enjoy that. There's a little bit down in CS, so going to be happily accepting of the first blood gold. Level 6 now hit for the Kayle as well, so we start to see the passive start to kick in. First of the 4 evolutions, you could say, during the game.
And you can see that Urgot, he's doing well in this lane. 56 CS to 34 with a wave built up against him. So he's going to get a higher CS lead, and he's frozen the lane against Kayle. Kale's not having a good time. Fair play to Crixus. He's played passive so far. He was forced to use Flash when he went for the fight against Shingon.
It's also a Klepto Kayle as well.
Looking to try and stay, relevant in the match. The Kleptomancy will allow her to pick up a little bit of additional gold whenever she trades against Urgot. I don't like it too much. I think it's really useful in lanes that you know you're going to get ahead, where you have a range versus melee matchup, or a matchup where you know you're going to be trading effectively. I actually don't think Kleptomancy is very worthwhile against Urgot here. Might help her keep the gold slightly even, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Shingon.
Well, look at this. Trying to play pretty sneaky, but it's a very late call.
This was a setup from Reigning Jelly Bears. They actually froze the wave and allowed Thresh to go back to base. Dantis spotted it out, stopped his recall, and stopped Enna for going back to base, which was crucial. So Jarvan was setting up for the gank. So stopping Enna going back to base means he hasn't gone and shot. They can't really freeze the wave. Jarvan can't come in for the quick gank when they came back into lane. Really nicely played. Shingon's just been happy feeding this entire match. Zangosaur's just free farming his entire jungle, taking every single camp that he wants. His lanes, yes, pushed in slightly behind, but perfectly happy at the moment.
Well, inside of Reigning, they are going to be at least able to pick up that Cloud Drake. It's going to be a Mountain Drake joining us a little bit later. Still, though, a little bit of counter jungling coming out from the Ivern. Just trying to get that lead growing on this Jarvan. If Jarvan ain't going to make plays in lane, you're pretty happy as the Ivern right now.
Can you make a play topside? Yes, he is.
There we go. Daisy's going to come out. Toxic gets the dash on over. Binding's going to connect still. That's a beefy boy on that Urgot. Is able to just tank up that damage. Doesn't even have to burn the flash.
Let Daisy go. Just smacks him a few times. But, yeah. It's kind of the issue with this matchup. Urgot's going to win. And when you gank him with Ivan, Kayle, you don't have that much damage to start the match. A scaling champion and a support jungler. I think ganking Urgot is a little bit futile. I don't think it's going to work. I think Urgot just has supreme control over this lane. I think all the lanes for RGB right now are just way too in control.
Yeah. On top of that, too, especially when you're against that Ivern with that Urgot, you can actually queue up your dash. So even if that binding does hit, you still get that distance in the end. Hook's going to force out the Featherstorm there. Blade Caller comes on back. Doesn't get the snare, though, that they were looking for. And that's already a pretty low health dance, so going to back off.
Very nice play coming from RJB's bot lane. They burn the ultimate from Xayah. They settle for that, and Xayah is already below half of his hit points. Well played coming up from RJB. Haha.
Just taking the scuttle. So it's mine.
And the curiosity now is, what's Hybrid Core's plan? Laning phase. They're down on every lane. Bottom lane is fairly even, but they're being pushed in heavily. We already said dancers can't really fight well.
Decent amount of damage coming back. Lethal Tempo is there. Blade Caller does come back and find the snare, but it's not in range of the tower, so the Thresh isn't going to tank any damage, and they're still getting pushed in here. Shear's also looking for the roam.
So it feels like Hybrid Core's plan this match is to scale and let Xayah be the main carry in these fights. But RGB want to try and throw a spanner in the works to come for a gank bot lane.
Sure is here. Super figures something's up and does actually spot out the Syndra, but the Jarvan, though, has rotated around. Scatter the Weak, not going to connect as Super's able to flash away. The rotation going to come out from Hybrid Core. It's still a 4v3, though, and that's going to force them to back off.
Look at the patience coming out from from RJB. They burn a flash, they settle. They burn a barrier, they settle. They burn an ultimate, they settle. Top lane, let's see if they can actually pick up this fight.
I've seen this before. I've also seen Toxic run away. That's going to be a flash on forward. Does at least get a flash out of the Urgot, but still.
Toxic doesn't care. I don't understand why Zakixor is spending so much time top lane. That is a lost lane. Maybe he has to. Maybe he has to do it in the top side of that. If not, Toxic gets too far ahead.
He is already at the point where he's about 30 CS to 25 back and forth as the wave crashes toward RJB. So not what they were necessarily looking for, but it had to be expected, especially when you pick the Kayle that early. It was open to that counter pick. Oh, Flare. That's going to be the Flay coming out. Does force out the flash on Dance, and you got Jarvan rotating on by. He's got boots, does have the Cloud Drake, but we still have this Ivern nearby for safety.
This is really good from RJB. They know that top lane's won. Toxic can go one-on-one against that Kayle, so they bring Shingon into the bottom lane. They bring Syndra away from the top side of the map to assist bot side. So now they have a winning top lane and a better 4-on-4 on the bottom side of the map.
Oh no! Ended up underneath the tower, just gets the safety with the Lantern there. A little too aggressive. That's kind of what happens when you tumble into tower.
Nice play from Eris. Was able to pull him back with the Dark Passage. You're only using the heal as well to stay alive there. Very close to disaster, but Hybrid Core is slowly being, funneled out. There's nothing much they can really do. Shingon has control over the bottom side of the map. Yep, early game was a bit of a disaster for him, but he's perfectly fine. Ivan's the only person that's ahead in this match. And IJB know if they take pressure away from top side of the map, Toxic's going to go to town. Nothing Kayle can really do. And they can just focus on the bottom side of the map, use the lane advantage they have, because both Syndra's lane, mid lane, as well as bottom side of the map are pushing in, so they have lane priority there. And Jarvan is a damaged CC-based champion, whereas Ivan is just a support CC-based champion. So they have the superior 4-on-4 skirmish at the moment.
See Crix forced to have to back off there in toward the river, so going to lose out on more of these minions as they crash in onto the tower. And that's going to push on back to Toxic's going to have close to a 40 CS lead in this lane at 13 minutes. It's a rough time.
Got his magical boots as well, so he
and a Black Cleaver completed too.
Didn't have to spend any money on his boots. Even more gold in his advantage. To his advantage, I should say. Sting as well as Amplifying Tone being picked up by Kayle, so Crix is not even at the first complete item just yet.
Does have a little bit of CD there with the Ionian boots, but still that opens up this bot side of the map for RJB, and they can go ahead and take this Mountain Drain.
And this is nice. Shingon just taking the objectives, knowing that again, bot lane's pushing in, mid lane can push in nice and easy. 3 objectives for RJB to pick up. Very patient play after the disaster of a start that came in earlier. Really like this. Very respectful. Now I just want to see how they transition to their first major objective. Do they go towards something like Rift Herald? Or do they keep focusing on bot lane / mid lane and look for a dive or potentially a turret take there?
See here.
Oh my.
Oh man, Dance keeps taking a lot of damage here. And look at this. Once again, Blast Cone is armed and ready to bring these two members on over.
Hybrid Core are rotating. They know they've left the lanes.
Oh no.
Vengeance.
Vengeance sees it right there, and the Xayah's just all alone underneath the tower. Nice job there by Rangning. That's also going to get them first brick gold for themselves here at 15 minutes on top of their first kill of the game.
This is where the struggle begins for Hybrid Core. Sure, when you have all your outer turrets alive, you have disadvantageous lanes. Yeah, you can sit on the turret, you can farm, lose a 20-30 CS lead. In the grand scheme of things, means nothing. But the problem lies when you lose your first turret, when you start to lose all the dragons, when Rift Herald gets lost. Now the struggle begins for Hybrid Core, because I don't think Hybrid Core can fight this team right now. They're really trying to scale up so Xayah becomes a hyper carry. But what do they have? An Essence Reaver on Xayah and an Athene's. Sorry, a, what's it called? Stupid silly cup item. Ivern has it.
Oh, blah, blah. Ardent Sensor.
Yeah, they have an Ardent. That's it. Ardent and Essence Reaver Xayah. That's not hyper carry stage. So where do they really fight? They've got lots of supports. They can try and keep Dancers alive, but Dancers is not going to deal enough damage. So RJB, during fights, just have to focus the supports. Kill the supports first and let Dancers dance around doing absolutely nothing. Hey, this is not a breakdancing move.
Come on.
No freeze allowed.
Oh, there we go.
Better. Much better.
Stop time. We don't have a Zillion, unfortunately, in the game, so we can't blame him.
So, what does Vayne do? What does RJB do now? They just rotate Vayne Thresh, top side of the map. Sure, Dante's event is going to come up here, but now it's rinse and repeat. Urgot now is a long lane against Kayle. He's going to love that. Dantis is not going to be able to farm against Ares as well as Endo, because the same thing's going to happen. Sydra's going to push in mid lane. Java's going to rotate towards top side of the map. Rinse and repeat. You take another turret, you take all the objectives off the map, and you just bleed out Hybrid Core. They're slowly going to go from this 3,000 gold lead RGB have to a 10,000 gold lead. And at that point, it's very difficult for a comeback to be initiated by Hybrid Core.
On top of that, you can see on your minimap, Toxic's looking for a place somewhere. Because honestly, he finds a Kayle and an Ivern. You can almost look for a 2v1. He's got the Black Cleaver completed. He's got the cooldown reduction there. Still see here RJB looking to push on in. Additionally, with these bot lanes now moving up toward this top side, and decent damage there is going to force out the flash. Ignite is ticking. Going to be able to go on in. Gets the knock up. Do they find themselves the kill? The stopwatch, though, is going to interrupt that dive. Final shot's going to come on back. And with the intervention now coming out from the Kayle, able to turn around the fight. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Descends is going to connect on over. Super's going to come on and find the double as they keep on accelerating forward here. Thresh gets taken down pretty low. One more auto will do it. Light binding. Meteor's not going to connect. Gets rooted here. Shira's waiting for cooldown. Scatter the Weak's going to connect, but that's still 2 kills going on over to Super.
Really good fight coming out from Hybrid Core to turn around what was going to be an absolute disaster in the top lane. They're able to rotate him over, but no!
Shira doesn't have the ultimate available, forcing the barrier out. Super's trying to sidestep, but can't avoid all the balls. And Shira is going to pick up a quick kill there.
Yeah, I take it back. It was an okay fight for Hybrid Core. They were forced to burn teleport on Kayle to get there. Really good start from RJB, by the way. They already had Java waiting wings, so they know they could take this. And it was a simple pick. Vayne just took too much damage. As soon as press the attack comes out from Vayne, he's already down below half health. Great dive here. Good use of the stopwatch. And they even disengages. And then the Kayle ultimate comes in the right time. Right as that auto attack came in.
Nicely done there as we get back into the game. Shira dealing with the 2v1. Teleport those coming out from Toxic, and Toxic can look for this execution. Intervention is there, waiting to nail him on down, and Fear Beyond Death gonna grind him up. Picks up the kill on Toxic.
Look, you can throw Kayle into the top lane as a teleport to disrupt the fight. It doesn't change. Hybrid Core don't have any pressure in their lanes. They don't have any pressure in the jungle. And slowly, unless they have a huge outplay or a massive fight, we're just going to see gank after gank, pressure after pressure towards these turrets. One by one, they're going to fall. During that time, Java was able to take Rift Herald. Next Dragon's coming up for 25 seconds, and mid lane outer turret's already at 50% hit points. This is not looking like a good game for Hybrid Core. RGB is slowly scaling up, and again, they're relying so heavily on their Xayah to get ahead and get the extra items. Athene's is coming up next for Ivern. That's another item that can assist Xayah because it provides a heal. But I think it's way too early. I think they're falling way too far behind. They're not stalling the game well. They're not trading objectives during this time. They're just sacrificing and sacrificing. And that leads to the snowball effect. RGB just going to take everything in their sight. And once all the outer turrets are down, they can start setting up for Baron and force Hybrid Core to either pick a fight or lose Baron.
See here, this is going to be the 3rd dragon of the game taken here by Ring Ning. They're going to go ahead, get themselves 2 Cloud Drakes. Next one's going to be an Ocean. It's only 20 minutes. Baron now joins us, and they're looking for plays here. They're going to opt in for this Rift Herald. Break open this first tier tower and really expose the map.
Just overheat it.
They just throw it away at this point.
Power to get another charge here, though. Yeah, boom. Nice charge. And RGB now, they've got 4,000 gold lead. They can set up for Baron. Set up, just ward it out. I don't think they can take it right now. Forcing Baron right now could be suicide, but they could at least set up for the play and then look for a fight. Same way they're doing it now. Hiding inside bushes, waiting to see if Hybrid Core push too far forward. But slowly, this is not looking too good for Hybrid Core. Thankfully, that one fight, I believe, where we had Kayle teleporting to the back lines and ulting Xayah to keep her alive, might have kept Hybrid Core in this game a bit longer. Because now it's not a 7,000 gold lead that RGB had. It's just 3 to 4,000. That is something that if you survive to 30 minutes, 3 to 4,000 means absolutely nothing. At 40 minutes, it's dead even. So they just need to hold on. Breaking inner turrets is the hardest part of this match. Because RGB don't have the range to force those turrets. They don't have the dive potential to dive past those turrets, especially with all the utility that Hybrid Core have. They really need to force a Baron. Or at least force a fight around Baron. Eris, go clear the damn wards.
Oh,
hey!
That.
Walk in the damn brush! There you go. You have to use your sweeper for it.
Let's spot that one out.
Muppet.
They're going to go ahead, clear out the vision themselves. Vayne still up in that top lane, farming away. Now has also completed the Rage Blade on top of that Bork, so nice bit of a power spike also coming in for that bot lane. Like you mentioned, it's about a 3,000 gold lead. It's only seen 9 kills so far in our first game of the day. RJB are looking for those opportunities. Toxic also finishing up the Righteous Glory might be the one trying to make those happen.
And there we go. Force coming up from RJB. They know they have to. If not, Hybrid Core are going to be able to sit back and wait for the scaling to start to come online. Hybrid Core need to force a fight here, but it might be a bit too late.
Might be a little bit too late. That's going to be
Oh,
ultimate
no.
coming. Oh, close. Final Spark not going to connect fully on.
Don't give me heart attacks like that. It's not
Woo!
okay.
Super. Trying to make it happen. Has been using the ult to mainly clear out minions. Try to take down the Baron.
Okay. So RJB know what they need to do in order to keep ahead of this composition. They've got the Baron. Now I want to see them use this Baron to start taking objectives. Diving is still a tough task. You've got a Kayle. Sorry, I'm not even going to say the individual champions. You've got 4 supports in the Xayah. Alright? Diving here is suicide. Don't do it. Split the map up. Put Urgot in a lane. Put put the 4 other champions in another lane and start rotating around the map. Split apart the supports. Because Urgot can fight anyone right now. They're all support champions. Urgot can fight them all. Alright? The best person you can put against him is Kayle. Even then, that's a crucial ultimate taken away from the Protect the Xayah composition. Split apart the map, slowly take down these turrets.
On top of that, too, it's Protect the Xayah, but still that Vayne hasn't been pretty much punished at all, considering we haven't seen any action other than that one kill that went on early, and that's already going to be an extra 1,200 gold in her pocket, and the first of the second-tier towers, especially a big one to grab here for Renee. Whew! That damage from Scatter of the Weak. Shira, gotta be a little careful here. Going to get rooted. Gets to safety. Meanwhile, the Urgot pushes in mid lane. They split them apart.
This is the problem. Hybrid Core can only fight as 5. So if RGB split apart the map, even if they initiated on that 3, the worst case scenario is they kill Syndra. Jarvan and Thresh were not in any sort of difficulty of being taken down. So during that time, Urgot's going to hit mid lane inhibitor turret. He's already taken down mid lane inner. Vayne's going to hit top lane inner turret. That's 3 turrets that went to RJB since they take a Baron, and they've escalated their gold lead to 7,000. They just need to keep doing exactly this. Split apart the map, play safe.
Toxic going to keep that siege coming in. We see this. Toxic is able to flash away. Root's going to connect. Daisy comes out. Redemption's there, and he's taking so much damage, but he gets to safety with the passage. A nice hook going to come on in. The Thresh is going for a ride into the back line. Box gets put on down, separates the team once again. Jarvan wants to try and jump in. They're able to kite back. Final Spark comes through the back line, is not able to connect. Shira wants to try and get in front, but Vengeance is able to intercept the ultimate. Nicely done there by Hybrid Core, able to kite back the fight.
Both teams making a couple of mistakes there. First and foremost, Hybrid Core trying to force the fight onto Urgot. I like the idea, but he's a tanky boy. You're not going to take any damage, alright? He's still got a Hextrigger available as well. Very difficult to force the fight, but Hybrid Core have to. So it's a bit of a lose-lose situation. You must force the fight, but at the same time, forcing the fight means you're going to take damage on top lane and bottom lane inhibitor turrets. Fine, they successfully did so. Lantern comes out, that was great from Ares. They save Urgot. That's where Hybrid Core should disengage, like they did. And RJB should back off. RJB should accept, but they got Urgot back to safety. Engaging against Hybrid Core's composition is exactly what they want you to do. They want you to pick a fight. They want you to jump on top of their players because they have this utility and the support to deny you these team fights. They have the utility and the support to keep everyone alive for long periods of time and then allow Xayah to go to town, allow Lux to get the damage down. It's futile. Just disengage, split apart the map because they cannot fight you when you split the map apart.
Fourth dragon of the game goes on over to Rei Ning as they now have themselves also a Moundrake. Binding comes out there from Super. Not going to connect. There is able to back off. It's 26 minutes, 6,000 gold lead for RJB. They now look to try and pressure in these lanes once again. Looking to set up a 1-1-3 or a 1-2-2. And try and spread apart Hybrid Core. We'll see whether or not Hybrid Core is going to be willing to now take those fights, especially now that Baron's off. Shira did complete that Rabadon's. Now this Cinder does a lot of more damage. Up toward the top lane, we see the multiple pushes coming on in, and there's just nothing Hybrid Core can do. Even without a Baron buff to threaten them, they're able to push in.
Again, I think they lost their first turret too early on. They need to do more to defend it.
They're trying this again. Toxic gets engaged on. This time he doesn't have as much safety. Team's nowhere near, and Toxic's going to get taken down. But meanwhile, top lane inhibitor is starting to be pressed upon.
Lose-lose situation. Yeah, sure, you kill the Urgot, but what do you lose for it? Top lane inhibitor turret's dead. Bottom lane inhibitor turret's dead. What are you doing, Enner? Don't back there.
Trying to get the safety here. That's going to force the flash out at least. The flash was on the vein. A little bit of a mistake there coming out from Enner.
And the problem, I think, with Hybrid Core's composition is, again, they didn't keep the first turret alive long enough. They use Ivern to focus top lane so much because Kayle doesn't have a winning matchup that he wasn't there to defend bot lane. That they couldn't use the teleport from Kayle to defend bot lane. And once that first turret falls, the domino effect starts. And the rest of them fall. Baron falls after, and RGB just rinse and repeat. 6,000 gold lead. Once you're inside your base, it's very difficult to force that fight because it's going to split you up so much. Fair play to Hybrid Core. They have forced the fight against Urgot twice. But now they need to find the opportunity to stop this second Baron. That's probably their last line of defense. They need to have Cryxis stop pushing against Urgot. He needs to be confident enough that he will stop him from taking the inhibitor at least. And then they need the rest of the team ready to fight at Baron. Because, look, 6,000 gold lead here, yeah, it's a sizable lead, but they can fight through that with the composition they have. They just need a fight against RJB 5-on-5. They need that.
SN's not going to connect there onto Vengeance. Should have the jump back on over. Going to force the ultimate. Scatter the Weak is going to find a connection there. Redemption's going to come out. Give back some health to the Jarvan. Does force the teleport out of the Kayle. What's going to be the answer here? What does Hybrid Core want to do? Scatter the Weak connects onto two members. That's going to get a Descends onto Vengeance. The knockup is there, and Toxic's looking for a flank. Might not even matter. Sure, you got the intervention, but you're just going to get isolated and take it on down. Toxic now wants to get on into that back line. And Enner is just tumbling on forward. Cataclysm coming on through, and Fear Beyond Death, they chop down the tree. And that's going to be 4 members taken down on the side of Hybrid Core as RJB look for the base.
Look, your composition of protecting the carry doesn't really work when your carry's dead, all right? That was a really good fight coming out from RJB. They get a good flank with Urgot. Hybrid Core tried to look for a fight. It looked promising, but too many things went south during the fight itself. You had the missed Lux ultimate. You have the engage going on towards Ivern. They weren't able to pick a fight before Urgot got up there, and it's going to be RJB to take the game.
Oh yeah, so Nexus is going to fall here. Hybrid Core not able to do anything. They're just going to add on to their totals very quickly. Toxic gets another one. And like that, RJB are going to be able to take our first match of the day.
Interesting composition coming out from Hybrid Core. I'm now excited to watch them when they play against Impunity later tonight. That's the 5th game of tonight. I'm excited to see if they use something similar or if, they have something interesting ready for that second match. But they tried. They tried hard. Just too many pieces of the puzzle didn't fit there.
I'm still I'm still questioning that Kayle pick because it was picked into the Urgot. Sure. It was with knowledge that it's going to be likely an Urgot, and there isn't a lot of time for that Kayle to scale. It was like you mentioned, it's 4 supports onto a Xayah and then waiting for that magical late game Kayle, but if the game ends by 4:30 minutes, then it doesn't matter.
And I agree. I think the Kayle pick was the problem there. I feel that if you're going to use the Kayle pick there, you have to do something. Lane swap. funnel somehow. Something different has to come in there because you cannot expect KO Ivan to beat Urgot Jarvan. You can't. That's not going to happen, okay? Yeah, sure, you get 6 items, you scale to 60 minutes. Fantastic. How do you plan on getting there? I think Hybrid Core had the right ideas, but they just didn't understand how they're going to get from A to B. They didn't know what the path it is, because it's not a straight line. It's A to B to C to Z to H to Y, JK, LMNOP,
Oh,
LML,
no.
something everywhere, all over the place, and then you get to B.
This is why I failed Trig.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the replays.
So-
This is the final fight.
So to talk about what went wrong here, this is great. Good disengage. Zangikor's always going to come in. He misses his binding when he jumps in here. And firstly, I disagree with the KL teleport. I felt like that should have been saved. This is a fight that was easily disengaged. Binding, misses. It actually hits the bloody daisy. From here, fight's over. That Scatter the Weak from Shira stopped Ivan. They should disengage. Sacrifice Braum, disengage, fight another day. Because that's a big flank coming out from Toxic. You've lost your AD carry at this point, who's going forward thinking he has the protection, but no one is there to protect him.
And on top of that, too, you had the intervention come out from the Kale, but it almost felt like for the Ivern, saw the intervention and was like, okay, I guess we're going back in instead of just disengaging.
Yeah, I think that it was a nice opportunity for Zankazor to walk in and look for that binding. As soon as that misses, it's done. You've wasted your KO teleport to come in. You're now in a really sticky spot. You have to now sacrifice and, you know, cut your losses. But that fight to begin with, KO should not be teleporting in so early. That was a very quick reactionary teleport that, again, without the cancellation teleport, it's not very useful.
Yeah.
And missing, you know, the Lux ultimate, not having an engage yourself, not having the proper setup for a counter engage. If everyone was there when Braum got jumped on the way he did, if everyone was in that brush right behind Braum, that's a 1 Team 5 hybrid call right there and then, because you would have everyone stacked up. Braum starts the fight by counter engaging, and you win. But RJB did split it up nicely. They knew they had to take things slowly. We saw so many times where they started fights, they were ready to disengage wherever they had to, but didn't really have to. So well played.
Well, let's take a look at our post-game stats. And it was a pretty simple one. RJB just had full control of that map. Not a single turret actually taken here by Hybrid Core during the entire game because they were always getting pushed in.
Who gets MVP? I'd give it to Shiro again. It was quite a standard match.
Yeah, it was pretty standard, but the Scatter of the Week at the end there.
I think that just takes it. I think the macro play was fine, but everyone had a part to play in the macro play. I'd give it to Shira or Urgot, but it's probably going to go to Vayne.
Oh, no.
Yay! We did it, fam.
There we go. ADC bias from our MVP judges not happening today. Shira's going to be taking home the man of the match. 106 on the Syndra, 41 kill percent participation. Some really nice Scatter of the Weeks, though, especially during the sieges when it came to those inhibitor towers.
And I really enjoyed that from RGB. They showed that even when an unorthodox composition is thrown their way, they knew exactly what step to take at every single point in that match. They knew exactly how to transition from the early game to mid and how from there to go from the mid to late. They never forced fights on the, in the turret sillily. They forced the Baron first. They took all the objectives. Then they suffocated HC so that they couldn't take any farm inside the jungle. They couldn't take any farm inside the lanes. They made sure they did all the right steps. They didn't skip any. They made a couple of mistakes here and there, but they didn't skip any of their steps. So that was nice to see that they didn't, see a weird composition and just immediately default to, we're going to play normally and see how it works. No, they played it very well.
No, they saw what they had to do, found themselves those win conditions, and pressured out where they had to. Because honestly, it was a nice game coming out from them.
Very good.
We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, though, it's going to be our second match of the night between MXG and Sovereign. Or was that Resurgence? I'm not too sure. It's Resurgence. I don't know why it said Sovereign there. But again, we'll be right back after this quick break. Elf needs to land this binding, is going to connect, but unfortunately that kill's still too far away. Shin's just drawing time. Binding's going to try and come out here. Should be enough. Vengeance sees it right there.